Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Connect, the podcast where we help you build confidence in everyday English conversations. I'm your host, Emma, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host and favorite guest, Jake.
Hey, Emma. Hey, everyone. Great to be back. And wow, video number 7 already. Can you believe it?
I know, right? Time flies when you're having fun learning English. And today, Jake, we have a topic that I think a lot of our listeners are going to find super practical and maybe even a little bit nerve-wracking.
Ooh, let me guess. Is it job interviews?
You got it. Today, we are talking all about job interviews in English. Whether you're preparing for your very first interview in an English-speaking country, or you just want to polish your professional language skills, this episode is for you.
Absolutely. And I have to say, Emma, job interviews are stressful enough in your native language, right? Doing one in English? That takes real courage. So we want to give our listeners the words, the phrases, and the confidence they need to walk into that interview room feeling ready.
Exactly. And here's what we're going to cover today. We'll break it down into 4 parts. First, we'll talk about the most common interview questions and how to answer them naturally. Then, we'll dive into powerful vocabulary and phrases that will make you sound polished and professional. After that, Jake and I will do a fun role play so you can hear what a real interview sounds like. And finally, we'll wrap up with some cultural tips and body language advice that can make or break your interview.
That's a lot of good stuff. So grab a notebook, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and let's jump right in.
Okay, Jake, let's start with the basics. When you walk into any job interview, there are certain questions that come up again and again, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what country you're applying in. In English, we call these the classics.
Right. And the tricky thing is, if you don't prepare for these, your mind can go completely blank in the moment. I've been there. So let's go through them one by one. Emma, kick us off.
All right. Question number 1, and probably the most famous one. Tell me about yourself.
Ah, the classic opener. And you know what? So many people mess this up because they think the interviewer wants their life story. They don't. They want a short, professional summary. Think of it like a movie trailer, not the whole movie.
I love that. A movie trailer, not the whole movie. So how should someone structure their answer?
Great question. I always recommend a simple 3-part structure. Present, past, future. Start with who you are right now, your current job or your most recent experience. Then briefly mention what you've done in the past that's relevant. Finish with why you're excited about this role in the future. Let's say you're a graphic designer. Your answer might sound like this. Well, I'm currently a junior graphic designer at a marketing agency where I create visual content for social media and branding projects. Before that, I completed my degree in visual communication and interned at a design studio. I'm really passionate about user-centered design, and I'm looking to take the next step in my career with a company that values creativity and innovation, which is exactly what drew me to this role.
That's really smooth, Jake. Notice how it's only about 30 to 45 seconds long. It's not a speech. It's an introduction, and it naturally leads the interviewer to their next question.
Exactly. Keep it concise. Don't ramble. Practice it until it feels natural, but don't memorize it word for word. You don't want to sound like a robot.
Good tip. Okay, let's move to question number 2. What are your strengths?
This one feels easy, but it's tricky. You don't want to sound arrogant or too humble. Pick 2 or 3 strengths relevant to the job, and for each, give a short example. Don't just say, I'm hardworking. Show it. I'd say one of my key strengths is adaptability. In my last role, our team had to switch to remote work with very little notice. I took the initiative to learn new collaboration tools and even created a quick guide for my colleagues. Another strength is attention to detail. I double-check everything before it goes out, which has caught quite a few embarrassing mistakes over the years.
The formula. Name it, then prove it. Question 3. What are your weaknesses?
Everyone dreads this, but interviewers want to see self-awareness and a growth mindset. Never say, "I have no weaknesses," or give a fake one like, "I work too hard." Pick something real, but not a deal breaker, and explain how you're improving. I sometimes get nervous speaking in front of large groups. I realized this was holding me back, so I joined a local Toastmasters club. I've already seen improvement. I even volunteered to present our team's quarterly results last month, and it went really well.
You admitted a weakness, showed you're working on it, and turned it into a small success. Beautiful. Question 4. Why do you want to work here? This is where research pays off. Spend at least an hour on the company's website before your interview. Read their About Us page, blog, and social media. Then connect something you found to your own values. I've been following your company's work in sustainable packaging, and I really admire your commitment to reducing plastic waste. That's something I care about personally, and I'd love to contribute my supply chain experience to a mission that aligns with my values. Specific beats vague every time. Question 5. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Show ambition, but stay grounded. The interviewer wants to know your goals align with what the company can offer. In 5 years, I'd love to have deep expertise in digital marketing strategy and be managing a small team. I'm excited about the mentorship opportunities here, and I hope to grow into a leadership role over time. Question 6. Why did you leave, or are you leaving, your last job?
Never badmouth your previous employer. Focus on what you're moving toward, not running from. I learned a lot in my previous role, but I felt I'd reached a point where I was ready for new challenges. I'm excited about working on larger scale projects in a more collaborative environment, which is what attracted me to this position. Question 7. Tell me about a time you faced a challenge at work. The behavioral question. Use the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result.
STAR is your best friend. Set the scene. Situation. Explain what needed doing. Task. Describe what you did. Action. And share the outcome with numbers if possible. Result. Situation. We had a major client unhappy with our timeline. We were 2 weeks behind. Task. I needed to get the project back on track and rebuild trust. Action. I met with the client to understand their concerns, restructured our workflow, prioritized critical deliverables, and committed to weekly check-ins. Result? We delivered 1 week ahead of the revised timeline, and the client expanded their contract by 30%. Prepare 3-4 STAR stories for different themes: leadership, problem solving, teamwork, handling mistakes.
Last common question. Do you have any questions for us? Never say no. Prepare at least 3. What does success look like in this role after 6 months? How would you describe the team culture here? What are the biggest challenges the team is currently facing? What opportunities are there for professional development? Avoid salary or vacation questions in the first interview. Save those for later. Now, let's arm you with vocabulary that makes you sound polished. Jake, what have you got?
First, power verbs. Swap out basic words for stronger ones. Instead of I made, say I developed. Instead of I helped, say I collaborated with. Instead of I was in charge of, say I led or I spearheaded. Instead of I made things better, say I optimized or I streamlined. Instead of I started, say I initiated or I launched. Instead of I came up with an idea, say I conceptualized. Instead of I made more money, say I drove growth or I increased revenue by X%.
And a few more. Implemented instead of did. Coordinated instead of organized. Mentored instead of helped. Negotiated instead of talked to. These verb swaps completely transform how you sound. Next, transition phrases to replace and That's a great question. To give you an example, in my experience, one thing I learned from that was, let me take a moment to think about that. This sounds much more professional than a panicked silence.
For descriptive adjectives, replace generic words. Hardworking, diligent or dedicated. Flexible, adaptable. Careful, meticulous or detail-oriented. Creative, innovative or resourceful. Good with people, collaborative or a strong communicator. And 2 words employers love: proactive, you take initiative, and results-driven.
Also, use modals, would, could, might, to sound diplomatic. Compare, I want more responsibility, with, I would welcome the opportunity to take on more responsibility. Huge difference.
And the word yet is magic. I haven't learned that yet, but I'm eager to. Turns a weakness into potential. All right, shall we do the role play?
All right, for this role play, I'm going to be the interviewer, and Jake is going to be the candidate. The scenario? Jake is applying for a marketing coordinator position at a company called Greenleaf, which sells eco-friendly household products. Jake, are you ready?
Give me a second. Deep breath. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Hi, you must be Jake. I'm Emma, the marketing manager here at Greenleaf. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Hi, Emma. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I've really been looking forward to this.
Of course. We're excited to meet you too. Well, let's jump right in. To start, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm currently a marketing assistant at Bright Ideas Agency, where I support the team with social media campaigns, email marketing, and content creation. It's been a great experience. I've learned a ton. Before that, I studied communications at university and completed an internship with a nonprofit where I managed their social media accounts. I've always been passionate about sustainability. I actually volunteered with a local environmental group during college. So when I saw this opening at Greenleaf, I was genuinely thrilled. I feel like this is the perfect next step where I can combine my marketing skills with a mission I really care about.
That's wonderful to hear, Jake. And I can tell you've done some thinking about why Greenleaf specifically. So let me ask you, what would you say is your greatest strength?
That's a great question. I would say my greatest strength is my ability to adapt quickly and learn new tools. For example, when I started at Bright Ideas, they were using a completely different email marketing platform than anything I'd used before. Instead of waiting for formal training, I took the initiative to watch tutorials, read the documentation, and within 2 weeks, I was not only using the platform comfortably, but actually training other new hires on it. My manager really appreciated that proactive approach. I also pride myself on being highly organized. I use project management tools to track all my tasks, and I've never missed a deadline in my 2 years there.
Impressive. And on the flip side, what would you say is a weakness you're working on?
I appreciate you asking that. I would say that earlier in my career, I had a tendency to say yes to everything because I wanted to be helpful, and sometimes that led to me taking on too much. I realized this wasn't sustainable. Over the past year, I've been actively working on prioritization and learning to communicate my workload more transparently with my manager. I now use a system where I rank my tasks by urgency and impact, and I found that not only has my work quality improved, but my team appreciates the clarity too.
That shows a lot of self-awareness, Jake. Good for you. Now, let me ask you, can you tell me about a time you faced a challenge at work and how you handled it?
Absolutely. So the situation was that about 6 months ago, we were preparing for a major product launch campaign. Everything was on track until 3 days before the launch, when our graphic designer had a family emergency and had to take unexpected leave. The task was that we still needed final versions of all the social media graphics. To be honest, I felt a moment of panic, but I knew we couldn't miss the launch. So the action I took was that I reached out to a freelance designer I'd connected with on LinkedIn a few months prior, explained the urgency, and negotiated a quick turnaround. Meanwhile, I used my basic design skills to create temporary versions for internal review so the team could keep moving. The result was that the freelancer delivered all the graphics within 24 hours. The launch went ahead on schedule, and it actually ended up being our most successful campaign of the year, with a 40% increase in engagement compared to our previous launch.
Wow, that's a great example of thinking on your feet. I love the measurable outcome, too. Now, where do you see yourself in 5 years, Jake?
In 5 years, I'd love to grow into a marketing manager role where I'm leading strategy and mentoring junior team members. I'm really drawn to the idea of developing integrated campaigns from start to finish and seeing their impact. I also hope to deepen my expertise in data analytics. I've been taking an online course in marketing analytics, and I'm excited about using data to make smarter creative decisions. Ultimately, I want to work for a company like Greenleaf, where the work I do contributes to something bigger than just profits.
That aligns really well with where our team is heading. Last question from me. Why did you decide to leave your current role?
I've learned so much at Bright Ideas, and I'm grateful for the opportunities they gave me. But over time, I realized that I wanted to work in a mission-driven environment, specifically in sustainability. Bright Ideas works with a wide range of clients, which was a fantastic learning experience. But I've been looking for a chance to go deep in one area that I'm truly passionate about. Greenleaf has been on my radar for a while because of your commitment to plastic-free packaging and your transparency with consumers. I really admire that. So when this role opened up, I knew I had to apply.
Thank you, Jake. That's really great to hear. Well, those are all the questions I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do. I have a couple. First, I'd love to know, what does success look like in this role after, say, the first 6 months? What would make you say, wow, we made the right hire?
That's a fantastic question. In the first 6 months, I'd want to see someone who's really taken ownership of our social media channels and email campaigns, not just executing, but bringing fresh ideas. And I'd want to see someone who's built strong relationships across the team, because we collaborate heavily with the product and sales departments.
That's really helpful to know. And one more, if I may. How would you describe the team culture here at Greenleaf? What kind of person really thrives here?
Another great question. We're a pretty tight-knit team, about 15 people in marketing. It's a collaborative environment where people aren't territorial about their work. We're all working toward the same mission, so there's a lot of mutual support. The people who thrive here are those who are curious, proactive, and genuinely care about sustainability. Egos don't do well here.
That sounds exactly like the kind of environment I've been looking for. I really appreciate you sharing that.
Of course. Well, Jake, thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch within the next week.
Thank you so much, Emma. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm genuinely excited about this opportunity. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, Jake. Take care. And scene. Jake, that was amazing. Let's break down what you did well.
Thanks. Let's analyze myself.
Your tell me about yourself followed present, past, future, tied to the company's mission. For strengths, you named 2 and proved them with examples. For weaknesses, you were honest and showed growth. Your star story had a measurable outcome, 40% more engagement. And your questions at the end showed you were thinking about contribution and FIC.
I also tried to use those power verbs, took the initiative, negotiated, proactive. Listeners, the role play shows how all the pieces fit together. It's not about being perfect. It's about being prepared, authentic, and engaged.
Now for our final section, let's talk about something that goes beyond words: cultural expectations and body language. Because in an English-speaking workplace, especially in countries like the US, UK, Canada, and Australia, the way you present yourself non-verbally can be just as important as what you say.
This is such an important point, Emma. And I know for our listeners from different cultural backgrounds, some of these norms might feel unfamiliar. So let's walk through them.
Number 1, eye contact. In many Western English-speaking countries, maintaining steady but natural eye contact signals confidence and honesty. That doesn't mean staring intensely. That's creepy. But looking at the interviewer while you speak and while you listen, with natural breaks to glance away, is expected. In some cultures, looking down or away can be a sign of respect. But in an American or British interview, it might be misinterpreted as dishonesty or lack of confidence.
Great tip. And if direct eye contact feels uncomfortable, here's a trick. Look at the spot right between the person's eyebrows. To them, it looks almost exactly like eye contact, but it can feel less intense for you.
That's a really helpful trick. Number 2, the handshake. In most Western business settings, a handshake is expected at the beginning and often at the end of the interview. You want a firm grip, not bone-crushing, but not limp either. A dead fish handshake makes a terrible first impression. Make eye contact, smile, and say something like, "Nice to meet you," or "Thanks for having me."
And number 3, smiling. This might seem small, but smiling when you greet someone and at appropriate moments during the conversation makes you seem warm and approachable. In some cultures, smiling too much in a professional setting can seem unserious, but in English-speaking workplaces, a genuine smile is seen as a positive social signal.
Absolutely. Number 4, posture. Sit up straight, but not stiff. Lean slightly forward. It shows engagement. Don't cross your arms, which can look defensive or closed off. Keep your hands visible, resting on the table or on your lap. And avoid fidgeting. No pen clicking, no leg shaking, no playing with your hair.
Number 5, punctuality. This is huge. On time means arriving 10 to 15 minutes early. Plan your route the day before. For video interviews, test your camera, mic, and internet at least 30 minutes ahead.
Number 6, video interview etiquette. Clean background, good lighting on your face, and look at the camera, not the screen, when speaking to simulate eye contact. Mute phone notifications.
Number 7, small talk. In English-speaking countries, interviews often start with casual conversation. The weather, your commute. Engage warmly, but briefly. If the interviewer asks, "Did you find the office okay?" don't just say yes. Try, "Yes, it was a smooth trip. I loved the murals in the lobby."
Number 8, follow up. Within 24 hours, send a short thank you email. Mention something specific you discussed and reiterate your interest. Very few candidates do this, so it sets you apart. Here's a template. Dear, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed learning more about role and hearing about something specific. I'm very interested in this opportunity. Best regards, Dear.
A few more quick ones. Don't interrupt. Let the interviewer finish. A short pause before speaking reads as thoughtful. Don't overshare personal details. Keep it professional unless asked. Don't be afraid to promote yourself. Back claims with evidence, and it's not bragging. And if you don't understand a question, it's completely fine to say, "I'm sorry, could you rephrase that?"
All right, to wrap everything up, let's do a quick fire round. Jake, I'll say a statement, and you tell me, is this a do or a don't in a job interview?
I'm ready. Hit me.
Arriving 15 minutes early.
Do.
Chewing gum during the interview?
Big don't.
Bringing extra copies of your resume.
Do. Shows you're prepared.
Checking your phone during the interview.
Absolutely don't. Turn it off completely.
Asking about the next steps in the hiring process?
Do. Shows you're interested in moving forward.
Speaking negatively about your previous boss.
Hard don't. Never, ever.
Sending a thank you email after the interview.
Do.
Within 24 hours.
Wearing strong perfume or cologne.
Don't.
Or at least go very light. You never know if the interviewer has allergies or sensitivities.
Researching the company beforehand.
Do. Absolutely essential.
Asking, how soon can I get promoted in the first interview?
Don't.
Ambition is good, but that's too aggressive for a first conversation.
Okay, Jake, if our listeners take away just a few things, what should they be?
5 key takeaways. Number 1, prepare, but don't memorize. Know your key stories, practice out loud, but stay flexible and conversational. Number 2, use powerful language. Swap basic verbs for stronger ones. Use transition phrases and modals. Remember the magic word yet. Number 3, show. Don't just tell. Every claim about yourself needs a concrete example. Number 4, do your homework. Research the company. This alone sets you apart from 90% of candidates. Number 5, be human. Smile. Make eye contact. Engage in small talk. Send a thank you note. The interviewer wants to know if they'd enjoy working with you every day.
And one more. Be kind to yourself. Interviewing is a skill. It gets better with practice. Even native speakers get nervous. Channel that energy into enthusiasm.
All right, everyone. That brings us to the end of video number 7. We hope this episode helps you walk into your next job interview feeling prepared, confident, and ready to shine.
Drop your questions in the comments and grab the vocabulary guide in the description. All the phrases, templates, and STAR method exercises from today.
Try the role play yourself. Pause the video, answer Emma's questions as the candidate, record yourself, and listen back. I promise it helps.
I'm Emma.
And I'm Jake.
And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye!